since you born. Then you live and die. So if tomorrow never comes, it comes at no surprise. Looking death into his eyes, yeah, I witness guys start to recognize, analyze their own demise. Some people wasting time, walking around hypnotized, blinded by success and breast, but can't identify what's real with fake because the money just intensify. Jealousy plus the hate that equals genocide. Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm back. I am back. Welcome to Life on Diagonal. I am your host, EJ Briz. Just got home from the gym, so please excuse how I look. Y'all see Helen Hyena's clothing. Before I start, somebody asked me, was that me on the intro rapping before the show? And the answer is yes. That was back in the day. I think that song came out in like 2012, something like that. So I figured, man, instead of me just using somebody else's music, I could just use my own. I don't have to worry about copyrights and all that other stuff because it's my music. And I did the beat on there. But I wanted to record this video real quick before I got settled, while all my thoughts and everything are running through my mind and I'm thinking about this. So when I started out, I kind of had a format of what I wanted to do with this channel. And I know I kind of wanted to start off talking about me dealing with my mom's passing first. And I kind of wanted to go in chronological order, but I feel like I'm just going to do what's on my heart for that day. So a lot of times I might bounce around like a ping pong ball because that's how my life is now, ever since my mom passed away. So there won't be an order. You probably hear me talk about a couple things a few times, kind of repeat myself, but we will get through it. And what I wanted to talk about today is something that happened right after my mother passed away. So I when I got the call from my sister, I knew that my mom wasn't gonna make it, and I was at work, and I kind of wanted to stay at work, and I didn't want to go to the hospital. I was like, you know, I kind of wanted my mom to pass away first before I got to the hospital, but I was like, nah, let me go to the hospital. I'm glad I made that decision. But it's rough if you haven't experienced this. It's rough being in a hospital room, sitting there holding your mother's hand while she takes her last breath. That's something I will have with me for the rest of my life. I don't know if that's good or bad. I think it might be both because it's soothing to know that I was there with my mother when she took her last breath, and with her being there when I took my first breath. And I always say this is me learning how to live again, living without my mother. And please excuse me because this is kind of hard. So if I'm rambling and making mistakes and repeating stuff, it's just hard trying to relive this. Um, so right after I wouldn't say right after she passed away. I would say maybe a couple weeks um, after she passed away, somebody said something to me. I took it as pretty harsh at the time, but now that I sit back and think about it, what they said was actually right. Maybe it might have been the wrong time to say it. And I'm not going to lie, when I first heard it, I was pissed. But what they said, it was right. So,
if you ever dealt with losing a parent or a close loved one, um, and you have people around you. I have friends. I have friends that I've known since childhood. I have new friends that I've met maybe 3 or 4 years ago. It's real close to me, family members and everything. So, whenever someone close to you pass away, the first initial weeks, you have people that's there for you, that's talking to you, that's calling you, texting you, and they make all these promises. And when I say this, I'm not taking no shots at anybody or trying to throw nobody up under the bus, but it is what it is. So you have people that promise all these things like, oh, I'm gonna always check on you, and I'm gonna make sure that you're okay, and I'm gonna do this and do that. And first couple of weeks is cool. First month is cool, but then after that first month, I'm not gonna lie. Depending on how I'm just speaking from my point of view and from my experience, and depending on how your circle is, it falls off. All that, I'm gonna call and check on you. Um, I'm gonna make sure you're okay. I'm gonna look out for you. If you need anything, anyone to talk to, it falls off. It goes in the diagonal, fall from the top. Well, no, I wouldn't say diagonal. Well, it could be a constant drop or a diagonal. One or two. However, um, so I was talking to someone because we were talking about someone else I know that went through the same situation, and when they went through the same situation, I was there for them. We're just gonna leave it at that. And as of today, what's the date today? Today is April 15th, and my mom passed away July 12th of last year. I still haven't heard from this person. This person still hasn't hit me up like, hey, I'm sorry to hear about your mom and this, that, and the third. But it is what it is. You can't control people. You can't control how people react to things. You can't control how people treat you. So I was talking to this person, and I was just like kind of, um, voicing my displeasure. And this person said to me, like, well, you have to realize that just because your mother passed away, that everybody else's life don't stop. And sometimes people don't change and people don't care. And like I said, I was like taken aback, like, man. And I'm not gonna lie, I was pissed off when I heard that. But, you know, now that it's been months after my mom passed away, that is true. And it's like you really can't dwell on what people do or what you should expect for people to do. Even if you have been a good person to them, looked out for them, a lot of times, the same sentiments aren't returned. And you could go to a place where you start having a ton of resentment, you start changing as a person, and start feeling like, well, since people are not going to be there for me, I'm not going to be there for people. And the more and more that I'm dealing with my mother passing away and hearing what this person said to me, it makes a lot of sense. And you really can't, like, just because you have a traumatic experience in your life or something that you're dealing with, people's lives do not change. People still, I mean, I won't say it changed, but sometimes it doesn't bother that person. I wouldn't even say bother that person. It's just people living their lives, and you can't expect for people to change their life or feel sympathy or do this and that because you had a death in your family, because your mother passed away or your father or sibling or loved one passed away. And it's like the more and more that I think about it and I come grips with it, um, I can understand it. And it makes a lot of sense now. I mean, could it have been the wrong time when this person said that to me? Yeah, but sometimes things is hard. Sometimes you need the harsh wake up call, and it's just something that's just been on my mind. Like as every month pass, people's lives do not change because you're dealing with something. People continue to deal. I mean, still live their life, and like with me, um, every day is a constant struggle. And one moment I'm happy, one moment I'm cool, everything's going good. Then I realize, like, man, my mom's not here. I'm not gonna be able to see my mom, talk to my mom. Mother's Day approaching, and I get into a place where it's like, man, it's like I'm trying to think of what I should say. Depressing at times, depressing, and a lot of people don't understand, especially if they haven't been in this position or had to deal with this situation. I can't, if you haven't dealt with this or been through this situation, I can't even explain to you how it feels. And people see you, they see you living life, or they see you on social media, or you may be laughing, or they see you out somewhere, and they may think that everything is okay, and a lot of times it's not okay. They don't see the alone time, or like I have stuff in my house now of my mother's, and like when I walk past and I look at it, it just remind me of my mother. And honestly, some people think that it's been long enough, you should be over this by now. Yeah, people think that way, and it's it's like this experience that this is like I've I've never experienced anything like this before, especially dealing with it myself and dealing with other people. That's why I have to stay focused on the ones who have been there, the ones who are still constantly checking on me and constantly making sure that I'm good, friends and family. And it's crazy because I have people that I've known since childhood, ever since I was little, teenage years, don't even hear from them. And it's people that I met maybe 3, 4 years ago, 2 years ago, months ago, that check on me constantly. And it's always weird, how um that happens. So not only with that, but with me dealing with this I have to I have to reevaluate myself and look at myself and see how I am going to be in the future dealing with people that I care about whenever they have to go through this situation, and me being there for them and being and lending the ear, um, to hear what they have to say, and for me to talk to them, make sure they're good and everything. So a lot of is a lot of self reflection and self evaluation comes with this process as well, because you have to make sure that, well, you don't have to make sure, but I'm the type of person that I want to return the favor. Um, I want to bring value to these people's lives like they have brought value to my life. And, you know, um, one thing I do want to say though is there's a flip side to this. So, a lot of people that get lost in the shuffle and they haven't dealt with this situation, there's going to come a point in time where you're going to have to deal with the situation. And hopefully, people lend you more grace when you're dealing with the situation than you lent them, because a lot of people take things for granted and they feel you know, like they I don't know. I don't want to say the wrong thing right now about this issue. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but a lot of times people um, get caught in their lives and not knowing that, hey, this is a situation that will hit you one day, especially as we get older, our parents getting older and everything. And I know that they are going to want people to show them grace and show them mercy and be there for them. And they are going to expect for everybody else's world to stop when their world is crashing down. And there's going to come a point in time when they are going to have to come to the realization that, the world don't stop just because someone passed in your life or you're dealing with a traumatic situation. Um, so all I can say is me as an individual is for me to be the best person that I can be to help others, because I've experienced this. I've gone through this with my mother, and I don't want anybody to feel like how, I I felt or deal with some of the stuff that um, I've dealt with, because if you haven't dealt with it's hard to understand. It's truly hard to understand. And people have told me like, well, uh, you're sad all the time, or you're dealing with this, and it's just like, well, my mother passed away, and it hasn't been a whole year, but people don't care about that. They care about themselves. So, what I'm learning as an individual is to give people more grace and to be um, more tolerant of people when they're dealing with a traumatic or bad situation. So I'm constantly working on myself. And with this situation, with these people not being, um, here for me, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I hold grudges, and that's one of the things I'm working on. Is like me not holding grudges. Working on yourself is a constant. It's a constant battle. As long as you live, you're always gonna work on yourself. So I'm trying. I'm not gonna be one of them type of people and be like, oh, I can't hold grudges or don't hold grudges or whatever. I'm not gonna lie, I do. But that's something that I'm working on, and I'm just working on myself to become a better person. And we know we're not perfect. I'm far from perfect. So, um, but I appreciate y'all sitting here just listening to me ramble about, um, me dealing with the situation of me losing my mother and everything. I was watching my past two episodes, and please excuse me if I'm talking and I close my eyes. I'm thinking, and I'm just trying to process what I want to say. So, until next time. Work on yourself, have fun, and look out for others. Peace.
Think about it. First you born, then you live and die. So if tomorrow never comes, it comes at no surprise. Looking death into his eyes, yeah, I witness guys start to recognize, analyze their own demise. Some people wasting time, walking around hypnotized, blinded by success, impressed but can't